In the glittering heart of London society, there lived an Earl, admired by all. In the saddle and on the hunt field, he led with ease. At cards and conversation, his wit was sharp, his presence commanding. He was respected by peers, envied by rivals, and endlessly pursued by mothers eager to secure his fortune for their daughters. But beneath the polished surface, the Earl was weary. The season offered no delight, only repetition. Ball after ball, supper after supper, the same simpering smiles and shallow flattery met him. He longed for authenticity, for something real. One night, at a masquerade, a jealous suitor nearly challenged him to a duel. The Earl's cool dismissal, cutting, precise, only deepened the whispers. "He is dangerous. Do not cross him." At last, with disdain for the triviality of it all, the Earl withdrew from London. Northward he rode, toward Harrowfield, his ancestral seat, determined to find peace far from society's schemes. Life at Harrowfield was different. The Earl rose at dawn not for court, but for the fields. He walked among tenant cottages, inspected barns, and rode the muddy lanes. He listened to the troubles of farmers, widows and children. Slowly, a change took root within him. Where once he led hunts, he now led efforts to mend cottages. Where once his skill was spent in fencing halls, it was now spent in ensuring food reached those who needed it most. The tenants began to see not merely their master, but a man willing to share their burdens. Yet with his presence came a certain awe. Rumours spread through the countryside. The Earl is stern. The Earl is handsome but cold. The Earl is not to be trifled with. Best keep your daughters away. This warning delighted him. Let the young ladies of the district steer clear of him. He had no patience for simpering misses. It was in a humble cottage that he first saw her. Clara Whitcombe, daughter of the local vicar. Her sleeves were rolled, her hands busy tending a fevered child. Her face, plain at first glance, glowed with compassion. She looked up at him not with awe or flirtation, but with a steady, questioning gaze. Their first words were brisk. He offered funds. She countered that what was needed was food and firewood. He respected her clarity. Their paths crossed again, at the schoolhouse he had funded where Clara taught children their letters, and at the harvest where she distributed food. Each meeting revealed her quiet humour, her dedication, her unwillingness to flatter or preen. But at home her mother fretted. "He is an Earl, child. His world is not ours. Keep your heart safe." A storm swept across the district, flooding cottages. Together the Earl and Clara worked through the night, carrying blankets, leading livestock, comforting the sick. When she slipped on icy ground, he caught her. For a moment their hands lingered. Something unspoken passed between them. But danger of another kind soon emerged. Sir Geoffrey Hales, a wealthy neighbour, set his sights on Clara. With polished charm and arrogant wit, he pressed his attentions. He mocked the Earl as the recluse of Harrowfield. Clara's mother, dazzled by Sir Geoffrey's wealth, encouraged his suit. Yet Clara's heart leaned elsewhere, and the Earl, jealous though he would not admit it, burned silently each time he saw her in Sir Geoffrey's company. Clara began to avoid him, torn between duty and desire. Sir Geoffrey pressed his suit, approaching the vicar with a formal proposal. Her mother urged her to accept. The Earl heard whispers and wrestled with pride. Should he step aside or declare his heart? At a winter gathering, he saw Clara dance with Sir Geoffrey. Jealousy struck deep. His controlled mask cracked. He left abruptly, feeding further gossip. Days later he sought her in the vicarage garden. Their quarrel was fierce. Clara accused him of arrogance, he accused her of cowardice. Words cut, but beneath them burned love, too strong to be denied. One winter's evening the Earl hosted a gathering for his tenants, determined to strengthen the bonds of his estate. Sir Geoffrey Hales, resentful of Clara's preference, had been spreading malicious rumours that the vicar's daughter schemed to rise above her station. At the gathering, Sir Geoffrey confronted Clara before all, his words sharp and cruel. Gasps rippled through the hall as he accused her of ambition, of setting her cap at the Earl. Clara, pale but composed, denied him with dignity. Yet her voice trembled beneath the weight of so many eyes. The Earl stepped forward. His gaze was cold as steel. "Enough. You speak of what you do not understand, Hales. This lady is above reproach. If you dare to malign her again, you answer to me." The hall fell silent. The tenants, who had long respected their master, now saw him defend Clara with fierce loyalty. And she, shaken though she was, felt her heart knit irrevocably to his. Days later in the vicarage garden, the Earl stood before Clara with uncharacteristic humility. "I have wealth, title, and land," he said, voice low, "but none of it matters without you. Clara, will you make me whole? Will you be my countess?" Tears filled her eyes. "Yes," she whispered, "with all my heart." Her mother wept in disappointment, but the vicar, after prayerful thought, gave his blessing, for he saw in the Earl not pride, but transformation. Their wedding was small but full of joy. The Earl, once restless and aloof, had found peace in the heart of Clara Whitcombe, who asked nothing but love and respect. Harrowfield thrived under their care. Together they walked the fields, taught the children, and mended the lives of those who depended upon them. Society's whispers mattered little. The Earl no longer sought London's applause. His greatest triumph was love, tested by jealousy, deepened by trial, and secured by mutual devotion. And thus the dangerous Earl was tamed, not by wealth, not by ambition, but by the vicar's daughter, Clara Whitcombe, whose courage and compassion turned his restless heart into a steady flame of love. The end. Pray accept my gratitude, dear viewer, for accompanying us through this tale. I trust it has brought you some measure of delight. If the story has pleased you, kindly grace us with your thoughts and do subscribe to this channel that you may be promptly notified when further romances and adventures are unveiled. Until our next meeting, I remain most obliged to you.